to Everyone Racers,
a show designed for the world of low-dollar racing and oddball car culture.
It doesn't matter what kind of Lemon Champ or Lucky Track Dog league you run.
SCCA or NASA, we don't discriminate.
as long as you drive it hard and built it yourself.
Join us each week for tech discussion,
Tips, tricks,
as well as news and notes from the world of amateur endurance racing.
whether it's on the spot,
hella sweet,
Or we're lucky enough in
Chrissy,
Chrissy,
I give you just the tip.
we're sure you'll giggle a little.
and learn even less.
Everyone report to the paddock.
This is Chris.
This is Chrissy.
I'm Tim,
Yay!
and that's all you get.
Yes.
Yep.
But we
But.
are Everyone Racers, and welcome to a Wildcat episode of our podcast. It's episode 391, and if you know anything about British stock car racing, you've probably heard the name Stu Smith and his iconic 391 Wildcat race car. It was originally built by the legendary Albert Griffin in the mid-60s, and after a few wins and issues, he passed it on to Stockport driver Wilf Hargreaves, who raced it briefly before parking it. Then, in 1966, a young, ambitious racer, Stu Smith, known for his crasher-win driving style, transformed the Wildcat into a powerhouse. Eventually, Stu and the Wildcat 391 won the World Championship 6 times, the National Points Championships for 13 consecutive seasons, the British Championship 3 times, and the 1978 European Championship. Stewart would also be the all-time grand final winner with 500 wins and over 1,500 total race wins. It had to be the White Walls.
Wow.
Mhm.
I didn't know much about this. Thank you for educating.
I didn't know anything about it. It is amazing.
Yeah, no clue. British stock car racing. This thing looks like
Yeah.
a shoe. That's what it looks
It
like.
does look like a shoe with white walled wheels and
Yeah.
red centers. Looks like a shoe.
All you had to put is a swoosh on it, and you're right there.
Yeah,
Kind of terrifying. I'm sure people died.
many.
Yeah.
All right.
That's okay.
No one whose name we remember, though.
Yeah. So, what you working on,
What you working on?
Tim?
Well, I am still recovering from the race weekend. Got in the car after the race and drove all the way home to Maine. Got home at 1:30, and then the dog excited pee-peed on the bed when she saw my wife. So then we had to take the comforter off,
Oh.
comforter on.
Oh.
2:15, asleep, and then my wife's alarm goes off at 3:50 because she had to go to the airport to go to
Oh.
Atlanta for a conference.
My goodness.
And then the dog woke me up at 6:30 because she slept the entire 8-hour drive home, so she wasn't tired anymore. So
Oh.
burning fumes. Yeah, just burning fumes to stay alive.
Wow.
I mean, usually you come home from a race weekend so refreshed and eager
Yeah,
to live life.
totally. Yeah, because I'm known for going to bed early every
Yes.
day when I go to the racetrack.
And not
It's kinda-
drinking anything that might
Not at
affect your
all.
sleep.
Like
You sleep- and sleeping in the most hospitable locations, like
always-
the floor of our trailer.
I always prepare.
I mean, fortunately, you were prepared because you got kicked out of other places you were going to sleep. So at least you had a tiny bed mat and a dog who decided to get out of their cage and wake you up in the middle of the night. So there's that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Chrissy,
she is an alarm clock, man. She is 6:15 awake. Doesn't matter.
So did you let the dog out last night? No, I didn't let the dog out.
It's
why
like,
would I-
why is there a dog in my face?
I would not think of that. Here, this dog just says, like, yeah, you want to snuggle? Let's snuggle. She didn't come to us. It's funny. I mean, not
Nope.
that she
So funny.
would.
Doesn't care about
She
us.
didn't even. Dad.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, well, we'll go quickly at this show so you can take a nap or something. Yep. Chris, you've been working on lots of things. What are you doing?
I have. Well, before the race, we had to, pack. Then we go racing. And then we come home and unpack. And beyond that, I have gotten the Mazda out of the trailer and done a solid cleaning on it. I borrowed the neighbor's pressure washer and cleaned it because that car was filthy gross, as happens whenever you have a rainy race weekend. The car gets disgusting. And this wasn't super disgusting, but it was pretty darn close. It didn't get to the inside. Like those are the bad ones where you're just in pouring rain all weekend and the entire inside of the car is filthy too. Wasn't quite that bad, but got it cleaned up, pressure washed underneath and everywhere too. And then gave it a post-race once over. And here's what needs to be fixed. The right front wheel bearing is trashed. The motor mounts appear to be weakened enough that it's allowing the engine to move around a little bit, enough that only in one corner it would occasionally pop out of third gear for no reason. But it was also a little bit of like when you get on the gas, it pulls to the right, and off the gas, it pulls to the left. There's no bushing wear. There's not a ball joint loose. So I'm pretty sure it's the weak motor mounts, which are a known failure point in this car. I need to do oil and transmission fluid changes because I haven't done the oil in 2 races now, and I haven't done the transmission in like a year and something. And that
we kind of did an oil change.
No, we only added a quart. It's fine.
More on that later.
I lost some too. So
Yeah.
we had a little bit of an oil change.
I need to flip the pads left to right in the caliper to even them out the wear. And we've got to put a window net in the car before Lucky Dog in 2.5 weeks. So that is my to-do list. Parts have been ordered from Mazda and from Rock Auto. And yeah, I'm trying this Mazda Motorsports thing now. We have some race results. I actually joined their team support program, and their prices on parts are very good. Their prices on shipping is very bad. So I'm not sure if it quite evens out enough. California.
Coming from far away.
But like I ordered 2 motor mounts and a wheel bearing and a hub. Right. And it's like $60 in shipping ground. It's like, this seems a little much, but I guess we're also spoiled with Amazon. I don't know. It all seems like a lot.
And even Rock Auto is close. So it's never, we don't pay for a whole lot that's coming from Philadelphia
Anyway,
area.
so I'm trying some OEM parts because they're not that much more than some of the aftermarket stuff. And I figure they've got to be better quality. So it'll be less in the end and less work. So
is there appropriate brake cooling on that vehicle? I'm not familiar with the underside of that car.
No, not particularly. It's got a nice big air dam that stops a lot of that, but the rotors are so freaking huge that we never have any problems with them overheating. But I'm sure they get warm. So I have thought about running.
We know they get warm.
Yeah, I thought about running some small ducting to the front there, but there's a whole lot going on in the center of a hub of a front wheel drive car, like to be able to get air actually to cool the outer CV joint and wheel bearing and stuff. So I don't know. TBD.
TBD.
Yep.
Okay. Well, I was packing, racing, unpacking, cleaning everything. I took all the boxes down and all the stuff from the potluck, and Chris did the coolers, and it's just a lot to pack. And we're the part of the paddock. I think most of the paddock actually in New Jersey is now gravel, so everything was just gravelly. It was dirty, but it used to be dusty and some grass, but now most of it's gravel. So it was hard to clean, and and then as we kind of alluded to, we're headed to a race in 2 weeks. So we only have put things away. I was ready to put most things away, and Chris said, why would we bring them downstairs when we were just going to use them again? So everything is now moved to our living room. Half things are moved to the living room. So yes, all the cleaning around here. And you might notice that we are missing a guy today. We decided that we couldn't all get together this week. So Mental said, record without him. So sorry, Mental. Maybe you'll catch this episode to hear how we did it with the race. But we decided that we were going to push on without our fearless leader of Mental. So you probably won't be able to see as many things as he usually brings up if you're watching on YouTube. And you'll be missing some of the Giga blasting that happens today.
We missed him at the race, and we miss him this week on the podcast as well.
Correct. So I'm sure we'll be back to normal sometime soon.
Yep.
Okay, let's move on to news and notes time.
Well, hey, do you guys know what's going on at Chrysler these days?
I mean, it can't be good.
Don't.
Sure. It's Stellantis.
Chrysler.
It's
Ask your doctor.
Well, Joel Feeder at The Drive reports that Chrysler is about to become an experiment. According to an interview with Ralph Giles, who is the chief designer at Stellantis, Chrysler is ripe for a new chapter, as he quoted. Now in their 100th year of manufacturing, Giles said, "It's time for us to pivot, and we're going to experiment with the brand." Since they only make a minivan currently, there's probably a lot of room to grow. I mean, how bad could it be, right?
Yep.
Only up from here.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
So Chrysler CEO Chris Fuel stated Chrysler's future vehicle lineup is going down the multi-energy path, which includes internal combustion engines, hybrids, and BEV motors. The Pacifica uses an ICE and a PHEV, and we intend to ensure that the future offerings deliver on a multi-energy strategy that best meets the needs of our customers and their usage requirements for the vehicles. Maybe they'll surprise us and they'll do something that won't be Stellantis-like. Stay tuned.
Unlikely.
Yeah, I was going to say I'd be surprised if that's what happens, but
Yeah, it's amazing. I went to their website and I was like, did they really only make one vehicle right now? And the answer is yes. They make a minivan.
The Pacifica.
And 3.
That's it.
Yeah. Well, they make 3 versions of the minivan, which are basically trim levels.
yeah, because everybody says, yeah, you know what? I'm going to go out and buy a Chrysler. That sounds like
Chrysler 300 RT.
Right?
Woo!
That sounds like a great idea. Nope.
Mhm.
Said no one in a little while.
I mean, not even Nissan Altima drivers are that dumb.
Nope.
Yep. They must be selling some minivans because
Rental
they
fleets.
still sell them.
Yay.
They're great. Their minivans are fantastic
They are.
In
I had a
general
kid-
or Chrysler ones?
in general.
Oh, in general. Agreed.
In
Yeah.
general.
But if you want a
Agreed.
minivan, you buy a Odyssey or a Sienna at this point. So
Yes.
Right. Yes.
Don't buy one.
anyway,
Okay, well, do you love everything retro, especially when it comes to cars? Well, now you can go to an awesome car show in New York City starting in November 2026. Ronan Glon from Hagerty tells us the details. So the annual Retromobile Show has been held in Paris, France, since the first edition took place in 1976. It's a massive event that draws enthusiasts from all over the world, including many who fly from the United States. Hosting the Retromobile Show in the United States is more difficult than it might sound. Project has been in the works for years, and the first American edition was originally scheduled to open its doors to the public in 2025. The event hopes to draw between 200 and 250 exhibitors. Over 80% of them will come from the United States, which suggests that the ideal isn't just simply to copy the Retromobile Paris and paste it into New York. It will fill about 400,000 square feet and spread over 4 halls. Organizers expect to welcome 50,000 and 60,000 visitors. The article which is linked in our notes, caught my eye because it had a bunch of Citroen DSs in a hall, plus a Grand Prix winning Bugatti. You could also buy some washers for your BMW 2002, and there was a picture of a Porsche on snow treads and skis. Looks like a fantastic way to waste your time. Sorry, and trek to NYC in November. I believe it is November 2026. I think it's the 11th is what it is. So got some time, but it looked like a fun show.
Yeah,
It's a fun thing.
a fantastic way to waste your time, not a fantastic waste of time.
Correct. Waste of your time. Yeah. Yes. It looked fun
Yes.
and different.
Okay. Hey, do you guys want to be boring?
No.
No?
I hate being
Well,
boring.
For people
I
that
want
want
to
to
be
be boring,
amazing.
here's a great deal on a BMW track car. This is a NASA ST5 legal race car for sale. It was originally a 328 IS, but has lots of M3 parts and some E46 parts as well. 215 wheel horsepower, 2,600 pounds dry weight. It's all gutted. It's got a NASA-approved bolt-in roll cage. Frame weak points have been reinforced. It's got a E36 M3 limited slip diff. It's got some cams. It's got some coilovers and camber plates, big brakes, big wheels, all that kind of stuff. It's been actually getting reconverted for street
Did you say
use a
Big
little bit
Wang?
more.
I'm sorry.
It does have a
Did
big
you say
wang.
Big Wang?
Yeah.
OMG. That
Yeah.
is like a house that they stuck on the back of a BMW.
It's got a big wang. Yep.
Giant.
And but the
OMG.
guy's been putting sound insulation and a passenger seat back in to be able to make it slightly more comfortable on the street. I think you're kind of fighting a losing battle at that point. But
Agreed.
it does have a clean California title with registration through May of 2026 and no back fees with the DMV. But you're definitely not passing emissions with this thing on transfer. So, oh well. Available for $10,000 in Petaluma, California. That seems like a very reasonable price for the amount of work that's gone into this for a nice little track car there.
It does. It does.
Decent
I'm
junk
going to throw
around.
a little bit of trivia at you guys too. The Apex Arc 8 wheels that are fitted on that are made by a Lemons team. That company is a Lemons team.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
okay.
West Coast.
Well,
Dick
great.
ass.
Oh, yeah. That's funny.
That's awesome.
It's the Dick ass guys.
Wow. Okay.
They are fantastic. So shout out to Dick ass.
Yay,
Shout out.
Dick ass.
Okay, it's upcoming races time. We're going to talk about Lemons at High Plains Raceway. 72 cars, 14 BMWs. Not bad. Okay, so I'm fine.
Medium.
19% of them, 7 Hondas, 4 Miatas, and a Porsche.
Now, from Eric, he says, the Renault 4CV returns. We've got a Rover 400 from across the ocean. There's a Dajiban, an International Harvester truck with a surprise swap, a Cutlass Sierra S. Don't forget the S.
Yes.
What he thinks is the first last generation Grand Am in Lemons history with all the body cladding. We got
so much
another
plastic.
HHR versus PT Cruiser showdown. And then there's the boring stuff like, a Plymouth Satellite, a Cherokee, a Pontiac Le Mans, a TR7, a rear-wheel drive Celica, an EV Datsun, a Vega, a Blazer. Colorado people are bringing it. Well done.
Yeah, hats
wow.
off HPR folks.
Wow.
I think the HHR PT Cruiser Showdown, one of those cars is the Apex Adjacent podcast crew, Dave and Ian. Yeah.
Excellent.
Judges, you're gonna have the run and train with Brian Trainer. Judge Bob Griffin is going to bring you all sorts of Texas tea while he absolutely talks your ear off if you go into penalty. And then you've got the man, the myth, the legend, Nick Pond, taking shots of all of your hoopties. Right. Well,
Pretty low amount of staffing there. That's going to be a lot.
72 cars.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
those people aren't as much of a handful as people in the Northeast.
I don't know. We judged there before and some of them gave us problems. So yes, in theory, for the most part, they're probably okay, but they're not all great.
Griffin
They're
will
not
take
all-
care of them.
Yeah.
They're not all, their attitudes are not all perfect is what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah. If you're racing HPR, leave your attitude at home.
Yeah.
That's
Bob isn't going to put up with any of that.
No.
Nope.
No.
Oh, well.
okay. Let's talk about recent results. Okay, from now on, we're just going to talk about the race this weekend. So we'll start at the top. Class A went too far from winning. VW Golf. Our good friends Tom Lamino, what's his
Tommy and Jonah.
Jonah. I sold the letters in his name. Jonah, and they did a great job. They pushed hard. They were leading both days, I believe. So
yeah.
They ended well. Minimal problems. I think they might have come in for one black flag. But for the most part, they did a great job. Tom was flipping all day Sunday. We get it. He was basically having a stroke in his chair.
We were all waiting for him to trip over his 6-foot erection being in the lead, but he never did. So
He was all pale and concerned. They did a great splash and go because they weren't sure if they're going to run out of gas. And it was like an epic, the best pit stop you could have ever had. So they were really happy. So really great job to them. It's been a while since an East Coast race that was won, or at least and was leading other than Boston Winers. So pretty fun.
yeah, or Towley. Right.
Or Tally. Yep.
Or Tally.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yep. Since Tally's recent reign, it's been Boston Winers. So, so great for them. Class B went to Mallet Heads at the Volvo 240. Their car is surprisingly pretty straight.
Yeah.
I'm surprised. They have been aggressive.
They've learned
but
over the years. They have calmed down. They used to be super aggro aggressive, and they have chilled out. And look what happens. Haha, if you don't overdrive the car constantly, you start to do well. So
yeah. The Class B was exciting for a while. There were 3 cars in the right battling each other. It was going to Scope Creep Omni. They were ahead a couple laps, came in, spun. Then I think they might have broken something. And that was Sunday afternoon. So they were winning for a while and then dropped down. And then Mallet Heads took it. And then there was another car in between there. And I forget.
yeah, the Omni was like top 5 for much of the race.
It
as
was
a Dodge Omni in Class B. So
yeah.
Well done.
They were doing really, really well. So I'm sure they'll come back and they'll do it again. So that's great for Class B. And then Class C went to the ATS ABBA Racing in their Rover 620. They, I think, raced pretty clean. I don't know.
They were
any
invisible.
stories about them. Yeah. And they just kept going.
That's how you win Class C, is just keep turning laps and be invisible.
Yeah.
That is great advice. The I Got Screwed went to Spork Racing in their RSX. I don't remember anything about that story because I was managing a 4-month-old dog.
Yeah, they blew up on like the first couple laps of testing day and never managed to get it back together. So, yep. Oh,
Spork Racing had another car. No?
There was a couple cars that had that as their theme.
Okay.
They're non-related. There's another Accord that was very bad. That had that theme
that wasn't.
Too.
I didn't recall.
That's the only one you saw because you didn't see this one because they were hella broken.
Oh, those shoots. Okay.
Yep.
Makes sense. Their heroic fix went to Pimp My Ride in their Toyota Celica. The regional award.
Well, hang on.
Went to. You want to
Celica.
tell the story on that one?
It's a good story.
Okay.
It is a good story.
They keep blowing motors like constantly. Like every race, they're always just fixing this stupid car. This time they picked up a motor on their way to the track of unknown provenance, spent all day Friday and into Saturday swapping it in. When they swapped it in, you thought we have elected a new pope. The amount of white smoke that was billowing out of the back of this thing.
Everybody cheered because they were a couple garages down from us. So we watched it all happen. And everyone was like, yay. And we're like, that's not great.
But eventually it cleared up and the thing ran great. I was running with it for a long time on Sunday and it was fast. It was well driven. Yeah. Like I was like, good for you, Celica. You're actually out there.
I didn't realize it was the same motor. I thought they put another one in.
Well, whatever, they got it done. So good for them. They've had so much failure. It's nice to see someone actually get some success.
Good for them. It was fun hearing the cheer when we're about to fire it up. We're about to fire it up. And then it made engine noises and lots of smoke.
Yeah, so much.
The regional award went to who'd that go to?
I don't know.
It's us.
Chrissy, turn right.
Hey.
I know. I forgot. It's over there. I should have put it right behind me. I'm sorry.
Yes, 3-pedal won the "We Are Sensitive to Your Nut Allergy" award, and we'll talk a little bit about that in a minute. The judges' award went to Zero Energy in their CRX Mad Max theme. They have done this theme before, but they have done it better than anybody ever. So don't ever try to outdo them. They've to the point that they actually got tattoos to just accessorize their theme. So good on you.
Friday was hot when they were standing and waiting to get teched, and the guys had their white paint on and the girls wear their outfits I don't think I saw them in real clothes all weekend. I think they have their outfits on, and they are not easy to wear and or comfortable. So
they made that incredibly they made that incredible articulated mechanical arm and hand that like actually works. I think is a work of art too. They did a great job.
Yeah, they did a great job. Have done a great job.
Yep. Org choice, Sesame Street Outlaws. This is Manny and Chris and the gang. And when they pulled up with this car at the end of the day, Friday, out of the trailer, everyone was so excited.
So excited.
This is a 1950, I believe, Studebaker Commander Coupe, painted up perfectly like the Muppets. It's Fozzie Bear's Studebaker from the Muppets. It looked so good. It wasn't done when it came off the trailer. The entire passenger footwell was full of tools. It didn't have all the lug nuts and all the wheels. There are many things that needed to get fixed, but fix it they did enough that it was out there turning some slow laps, but looking just spectacular. So we're looking forward to them.
Was it totally like a rolling roadblock? Was it that slow?
Yeah. Yeah, it was.
Okay.
But we're looking forward to when
I think it was more of a rubbernecking roadblock than anything else. Everyone's like, look at that thing. That's amazing.
Yeah, it was. But they kept out of the way. They know how to drive a terrible car.
Yeah, sure.
But it looks so good. Like no one was upset by it because it looks so good. Yeah.
They had some overheating problems. Were you guys in the garage?
Yes, I was. Yes.
When it let go, yeah. And then they had some belt problems too. Like couldn't keep the belt. It just keeps throwing the belt off, and some steering problems. I mean, lots of teething problems for a car that was built like almost from scratch. Who knew?
Friday.
But yeah.
Friday.
But they did a great job. And their costumes were all handmade and looked fantastic too. So they did wonderful.
Yeah. Each I think they had a member of everybody from the Muppets. I mean, not the like obscure guys, but like they had the whole band. They had they were actually really good. It was great.
IOE, long overdue. This is a car that beats 2/3 of the field. With this race had the 117th fastest lap of the weekend, and this is Glenn's, Farney's, and friends and family's yellow S10 truck, and they just go around and around and around and around, and that's it. And it's amazing, and they do really well for it. I did see Glenn in the penalty box one time this weekend. I said, Glenn, I'm surprised you even knew where this was. How many years has it been? He's like, it's been 5 years since I had a black flag. So I was like, all right. Well, good to see you.
Pushing it a little too hard.
Yeah.
And they're wonderful people. And I'm sure you've seen this car. Fairly reliable too, I think.
Yeah.
I don't want to jinx them, but
they've had the wheel fall off a couple of times, but that's they had that issue at pit race. It came in on the flatbed, and he said that it happened one other time too.
Okay.
So I think that's a fairly new issue. I think they're going faster.
Might be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, listen to those other shows that are somewhere back in there of what happens when you go faster and the things you need to upgrade.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And Halloween Meets Gasoline went to the Italian Job Mafia in their Mini. They bring their entire extended family to this thing, and they are never, ever out of character. Just the constant yelling, the bickering.
They stepped it up this time.
Oh, they always trying to feed people Nana's balls. They brought so much stuff to the potluck that they were in your face trying to feed you that. The best part, they brought an actual, from a church, wooden confessional booth. And left that in pits, which was great. They brought a living room set that is totally somebody's grandmother's with the plastic over the floral prints.
There
and
were
just
Mary
the Jesus
pictures
paintings and all
everywhere.
Yep.
Were there little glow in the dark Marys everywhere? They had all kinds of they papered the bathroom.
There's
with
communion
missing
wafers around there. Oh yes.
It was It was so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like a movie set. It was that much. It was amazing.
And they were having
really
so much fun.
They were so upset every time they came in for a lot of penalties, actually, unfortunately for them. And the whole team would come over. You could hear them yelling from I don't even know where their paddock is. It was far away. Wherever the paddock was, they started yelling at their paddock, at their driver that was sitting in penalty. And they would just I don't even know. They were dressed most of the weekend, I think. Some of the so were out of character, but for the most part, they were always yelling. You always heard them.
Mm-hmm.
They need their throats probably hurt from as much yelling as they were.
Commitment to the bit, though. They absolutely did.
Yeah.
Well done, folks.
They came into BS and they brought it, right? I don't
think I saw
all
them
the
in BS.
things. It was amazing. And Eric Rude looks at me and he goes, "Well, there's the bar. Good luck, everybody."
And that was before they brought all the furniture. I think.
Yeah.
I think the confessional. Yeah, the confessional was over, but the furniture.
Not the furniture. Yeah.
And not dinner. The last time that I think the first race might have been Jersey last year. I kind of want to say. And they brought a couple things and they put them all down in the middle of the potluck. And they're like, we're going to serve. And I was like, no, that you just can't stand in the middle of the potluck and serve your pasta. I was like, you can't do that. And so here, this time they brought their whole table already set and they said, we're just going to put it down there. And so they set up their own table a little bit further away from the potluck, which of course they served all their food and they had cakes, homemade, these really elaborate dishes that have all the fruit inside. I don't know. They were talking about how difficult they are to make. So yeah. They're so much.
Full send. Yeah. Well done.
Okay, It's listener feedback time.
Well, on the YouTubes, Super Kart Racer said, "Spot on. Just got back from NJMP. The track was fun. The people were great. The potluck was awesome. We'll definitely be back."
Well, thanks for Super Kart Racer. Shoal Sailing said, "Outstanding episode and spot on track walk by Chris. See you guys at the track. Cheers from the Murder Hornet crew."
Al J said, "I used to do car detailing as a side hustle. There's no more disgusting vehicle than one owned by a suburban mom who maintains her home at Martha Stewart levels of perfection. For some reason, they spend all their energy at the house and treat their vehicles like South American prison cells. If I was ever asked to give a quote on an SUV with third row seating, I automatically added $100 to the price without even looking at it because I knew what ungodly hell was waiting for me."
Oh my God.
Things I found while detailing: loaded handguns, an entire foot-long Subway sub, various undergarments, a lot of weed, a bottle of Pappy Van Winkle that I was really tempted to keep, a hermit crab, an entire gallon of latex housepoint spilled in the trunk, and enough sticky change to open a sticky casino.
LJ, I love you. This is amazing. I had no idea. That's awesome.
Great.
It's awesome. I have to thank everybody for the feedback that we didn't get because I didn't post anything all weekend because we were crazy people. But Tim was nice enough to post a video about the glory hole, which was the only thing that we posted all weekend. And there was one response, and it was Jackie, who already knew about this theme before we actually went to the race, said, "Wait, no clam chowder?" And that's in response to Chris's idea to serve soup from the glory hole, which never came to fruition.
It was Dean's idea.
Oh, okay. I'm very sorry. It was a previous discussion that happened. No, we did not have soup. Sorry, not sorry. If you decided to go into the glory hole, we did. We had 3 different kinds.
Yeah,
we had a hard time getting people to have snacks, let alone soup.
Okay, hold on. Let's get there. We're going to. We are going to Say hello to my mother.
You know,
Yeah.
who would never leave an entire gallon of latex house paint in the back of her trunk?
Do you know who doesn't have a whole lot of sticky change? I don't think she has much sticky change.
No.
Or Pat
Lots
Winkle.
lots of takeout silverware in the glove box. Like lots.
She's resourceful. You
Lots.
never know when you're going to need a spoon.
Yep.
Hi,
Oh, wow.
Mom. And thanks for the cookies.
Thank you for the cookies.
Thank
Yes.
you. Everybody
They were
enjoyed them.
a hit as always.
Seriously. And she knows which ones sell because actually it's funny because everybody was asking me for them. So you probably didn't get a Biscoff bar because they went to special people. So there's that.
Oh.
Oh,
All right.
okay.
And
Bye.
yep. So
Right.
let's
Pause.
yep, pause.
Thank you for
going
those Biscoff bars, by the way. Those saved my life on the way home.
I'm sure they did. Yes, I hid them in your car. And it's so funny because I made Jeremy a bag and I made a couple other bags and I just went right to your truck and threw them in. And then Erica was like, I didn't get a Biscoff bar. And so I said, there's some on the table. So I kind of like put them out for Gen Pop and didn't give them to everybody. So you are special. You got one.
I love
Okay.
you.
Okay.
Hold. Give me 2 minutes.
Well,
I have to
can
go
we just-
make a new link.
Can't we just all log out and log back in?
I don't think so.
All right. Here we go. Round 2, Mental.
Chrissy, what
So-
time is it?
It's very good. Okay, as we already mentioned, we are talking all about the New Jersey race that we just came back from. It's still all fresh. And yeah, we already started alluding to some of the fun things that happened. But let's talk about how our trip went and how our days went and weather.
Yeah.
'Cause all
Let's
of
go
that
through the
was
weekend.
crazy. All
Start
of it.
with Thursday.
Thursday.
Thursday, I worked from home, stopped at 11, cut the grass, did some more packing, and waited for Timmy to arrive. He did. We packed more. We played with the dog. We got some delicious lunch.
I ate a giant pizza roll sub thing that I've never had before. That thing is amazing.
It is.
Good
Yep.
job, Vinny.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah, we got everything packed up. Thanks for Tim for all his help. We loaded a bunch of stuff into back of Tim's truck that I was getting rehoming, really, much of which is just staying with Tim actually for a while. So
Shoot.
yeah, Tim saw it first. He's like, I'll take that and that and that.
It is no longer our crap. So that's all that
Our
matters.
crap
I
can
think.
be your crap, and it is your crap now. That's great.
It is. It is already in my garage.
Yep. So we did all that, and then we waited for Chrissy. Chrissy got here, and we drove.
I worked normal and then left a little bit early. Flew in, changed real quick, got in the car. We drove away.
Travel to Jersey wasn't bad. Some traffic, but not tragic.
Yeah.
Got gas at the Wawa on the way in, where when we say we have some cans, they just hand us the pump and say, "Here you go," and we just like, "That's fine." They don't care what color the cans
It was
are. They
busy.
don't care.
It was busy. I think
Yeah.
they were like, "Oh God, I don't have time for you people."
Yeah.
Oh, I
It's
feel
like-
like that's not like the busiest. It was, I guess it was.
Well, they had some of the-
medium, I suppose.
Some of the pumps coned off because they didn't have enough people to get to them. But whatever, they were fine with us doing that. That's fine, which is great. So then we showed up at the track with a trailer full of gas, and we got there 6:30ish, I think, right? And the track was
Not bad.
Yep.
adamant no one is in until 7. So there were 2.5 lanes of the entire driveway of NJMP up there. We happened to park right next to Uncle Dave, which was convenient. And Jeremy was the
Random,
very first
actually,
one
of
in
all-
line. Right, he
of
was
all
all the way up.
people.
Jeremy got there at like noon. He's just hanging out all day. A lot of our team actually got there Wednesday, was already inside, but then the track said, "No, you can't park here. You have to go back out to the front." So they did. The track was
They went to the bar for hours and then
Yeah.
they were parked on the inside of the track and they didn't love that because they were going to be first and they didn't have to get in line and they tried to make them get in line and they said no.
yeah. The track
Getting
was a
in
little
was
spicy
emotional.
getting in.
Oh,
They were-
There was
spicy.
they were-
one person in particular,
Yes.
one female in particular that was. She should
Try-
have a different maybe a non face to face with your customer position.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So we
Agreed.
took Scooty off.
Leaflets.
We took Scooty off and rode up to the front of the line and checked in, which made our check-in a little bit easier. So we didn't have to stop and pull over and get a wristband. So that was pretty good. So we scooted around, said hello to people, waved and said hi. And yeah, then we started to pull in. So I scoot over the line and I go to, show my wristband. I say, I'm coming in. And she was like, you can't go in without a helmet. And I was like, I pull over and I'm like, what? I'm like, I don't have a helmet. I'm just like, I guess I have a helmet, but it's in the truck and it's a race helmet. I'm like, what? She was like, you can't ride in the state of New Jersey without ride a motorcycle without a helmet. And I was like, I don't have one. And she was like, well, you're going to get a ticket. And I was like, I don't care. And I just scoot away. I'm like,
Yep.
I'm just like, that's the kind of stuff that she just gave to like everybody that drove in had some kind of problem.
Where's your parking pass? Where's your camping pass? You have a camping pass?
Yeah, it was
a car. Like, do I
it
need
was
one?
so much.
Yeah.
Right. That it really put us all, and we kind of came over and everybody had a story about this lady, and we were like, this is not great. So
we got in, started to set up in the garages, and I will say, Lemons noticed the track's new electricity policy in the garage that we talked about, and chatted with their management, and somehow made an agreement that the power would be on in all of the garages this weekend without having to pay $5 an hour for a single 110-volt plug. So bravo, Lemons, for realizing that.
I'm sorry, Chris, but it was $10 an hour.
Yeah.
So even better. Good for you, Lemons.
Well, all right. It was a ridiculous amount. So well done on Lemons and realizing that
it'd be a lot.
Lemons racers are not going to put up with that, and we're a really creative and cheap bunch. So
I think that's the biggest thing, is that means we were going to get every power strip that existed, and we were going to get one power source, and we were all going to use that one and daisy chain everything, which makes me horrified, but that's how we were going to do it.
Yeah.
And then we probably would have burned the place down.
Yeah.
So
someone would have made a generator out of a car with a thing and a solar panel.
A bike.
Harbor
Everybody has to.
with a bicycle, right?
You have to bike.
Shenanigans would have been super based on that.
There would have been like 42 power strips over the road because they would have yelled at you if you put them on the road, right?
Yes.
Ridiculous.
It would have been bad. So
that would have been part of the penalty for the weekend, is you'd rig up a human generator, like, one of those, you stand in front of a bar and walk around in a circle, one of those kind of things. That's what would have been made for people in penalty otherwise. Anyway, so thanks to Lemons for solving that problem, but still boo to New Jersey for having that problem in the first place, because that's dumb.
Yeah, you're dumb.
Yes. We've managed to move our garages around. We had 4 garages in different spots, but through talking with other folks who had the other garages, we moved them all around, and everyone actually ended up happier with their new positions after we moved them all around, including Stella. Stella's so happy. Yep.
Yes, thank you to everybody that was so patient with us. Everybody was totally agreeable, and it was really nice to be next to each other because we share so many parts and things, and run.
It even worked out because one of the teams that we swapped with, they had 2 cars and they were on opposite corners, so they ended up being able to get next to each other too. So it worked out for everybody.
Awesome. Absolutely did. And Thursday night, everyone unpacks and says hello. All good.
Yeah, unpacking and repacking are just so difficult. We have such a big compound. Every time we do this, I realize it's great for 2 days that you have that you're all together and you have everything that you need at the track, pretty much, other than parts and stuff. But it ends up being we just have so much crap. So much.
Oh, and Jimmy brought like the entire town that he lives in with him.
That's correct.
Yeah.
and Greg, because he brought his whole family and then some. So between those two, yes, and then some. Yeah, we had 3 RVs. Bill have an RV? I don't even know. Trucks and trailers. It was just a lot. So
traveling circus and roadshow. Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's us. We were right outside judging, so we got to see everything. That was really nice. Good spot.
So Friday, It's a fairly easy day. Thursday night, we built our pièce de résistance of our theme. So to be clear about what our theme was, because we've kind of danced around it a lot at this point, it was Snacky Glory Hole. So let's be clear. It's snacks being fed through a hole in the wall.
Through a hole in the wall.
You go in, right? So we made a bathroom stall.
Chris, you made a bathroom stall.
Tim helped assemble
Chris.
it. Made a bathroom stall, painted it gray. It had, the foot of a gap at the floor. It was on casters so we could move it around. It had a door. It had a hole, had a shelf for the snacks outside of the hole. Eric rigged up
a handle.
Right. It did have a door handle. Yep. Eric rigged up a camera to see what was inside with a light on a switch that was powered by a drill battery. So it was a lot. And so what you would do is go inside the booth and sit down on the 5-gallon bucket with a toilet seat on it and face the hole, get real close, and you'd receive a tasty, delicious snack. And that was it.
We did eventually offer, do you want a sweet or savory snack? Because we didn't want to give the whole selection of pick what snack you want unless you worked there. Then I would say I would like a gummy bear and walk in the stand and then get a gummy bear.
If you worked at the
usually it was a surprise snack, and that was the thing. You get a surprise snack. Whatever comes through the hole is what you take in your mouth. So
we worked hard to convince people that it was only high quality snacks.
Yeah. Yes.
And people. But as Tim alluded to earlier, people were very hesitant about getting in here.
Yeah.
Uncomfortable. Some people were clearly uncomfortable.
And other people thought it was hated great and they ran right in. So no problem.
Right. Multiple times, actually. Yes.
It was great fun. The people did have a lot of fun with it. You had to talk some people into it, but everyone, without fail, left the booth with a smile on their face. Everyone laughed at it once they did it. It was a lot of fun.
My favorite was one guy. He asked for savory, and we had these little Slim Jims, and he gets a Slim Jim, and he's like, "Oh my God, it's a Slim Jim! I haven't had one of these in years."
He's like that excited.
He was so excited.
Somebody went in and wanted savory, and I opened a little bag of Cheetos. And I gave him one, and he was like, Cheetos. And he stayed there. And I continued to give him, I didn't give him the whole bag, but I gave him about 5 of them. And then he walked out and I handed him the rest of the bag. So yes, most of the time. And then my mom made glory hole sized cookies. So they were butter cookies with sprinkles on top. So you could have had a Chrissy's mom's cookies in the glory hole if you decided to go there. So I'm sorry if you didn't. And we tried to convince you that
we did. A good time. Every Friday we did it all during the day. We had our presentation at BS. And this is all from a Saturday Night Live Lonely Island video that the same guys that did I'm in a Boat and Dick in a Box, that crew, they did a video called Sushi Glory Hole. So we didn't want to bring
Look it up now. Maybe Mental will post it here because Sushi Glory Hole, having high grade fish.
Right. So as usual, it's hilarious. So we made our own version of that with Snacky Glory Hole, and that worked out. It was just so much fun. The Glory Hole would go on walkabout in the evenings. Tim and Eric did a great job of being the Glory Hole barkers as we just walk around the paddock looking for people that needed a snack. And we made it very clear what our intentions were on the outside of it. Had a big sign that said, "No dicks, no sex. Yes, tell us about your food allergies." Because last thing we want to do is put someone in anaphylactic shock because we gave them a snack.
Legit, I think it was Tim. Somebody gave me a cookie and it comes through the hole and it said, "I can't eat that." So yes, I guess I didn't prepare everybody to.
You didn't tell anyone about your food allergies, whoever was dealing with it.
No.
People know that I can't eat those cookies, but that's okay. You didn't necessarily know what mouth was in there. Can I back up a little bit on Friday morning? Well, Chris and what?
Go ahead.
What? Okay.
We were kind of Thursday blending into Friday there. So
okay. Well, Friday morning, we already talked about BS.
Transition Friday morning.
Friday morning, Chris and I got up early, and we had a segment about lemons on a show called News Nation. We had an interview, and basically Lemons, somebody reached out to Lemons reached out to us. And so Chris and I did a quick intro about how much fun we were having at Lemons. And it was rescheduled multiple times, and it ended up them scheduled on this Friday. And we were like, well, we'll be at the track actually. So we did the background of the track, had to tell a bunch of cars to stop people working on the cars, because we were like,
you could stop grinding us up for like 5 minutes. That'd be great. Thank you.
Right. And people started, somebody came over and started photobombing, and we're like, no, like legit, we're going on TV. And so we did that Friday morning. And then I worked Friday half a day, because just why not? I'm at the track. We're not doing anything. We didn't test. And so that was Friday morning. And then we had BS late. So we basically had a day to kind of just mess around.
Mm-hmm. We
a couple other cars tested.
Yep. We drove the Mazda around a couple times to heat cycle some tires. So it took it on a nice half-hour ride around the lovely Pine Barrens south of the track. It's actually a pretty nice drive out there.
We never go that way.
No, you keep going. Take a right out of the track and keep going straight. And it's actually a very nice twisty road through the woods. It's lovely. So
that's how you get to Van's
terrible
yard of hell.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Okay. Don't go to Van's yard of hell, but go that way. Otherwise, if you're looking for a nice little drive, it was great. Friday night was typical shenanigans, and we had wort burgers, and the hot tub was out, and
so they tested the Mustang. So that is Tally's other car that they ran a while ago.
So loud.
It's so loud. And of course they had that issue that you end up just needing to rev the car as loud as much as possible, hit it off the rev limiter as much as you can, and to try to figure out what kind of problem you have. Everybody loves that. And everybody loves it even more when it's your team. So so they ran the Mini
ran a little bit. No, Mini did not run. Mini did not run. I think Tally went out.
Scrubbed in tires.
Dave scrubbed in tires. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't do a lot of testing, because testing's expensive in New Jersey. So
yeah, and it was minimal, and we didn't have much to do. So, but it's been great. Like I said, we were right next to judging, so we got to watch all of the people BSing. So we basically got firsthand all of the BS line, which was fun.
Mm-hmm.
Friday night shenanigans. Yeah, pretty quiet-ish. I mean, we had music, so we're hopping. People come by all the time, say hi, but we didn't do a whole lot. Oh, we were in the hot tub on Friday.
Yep.
Yeah.
So then Saturday morning, race day, we had Eric starting out first. And Eric went out and did about half an hour till he wasn't feeling well. And then we put Jeff in the car for a while. And Jeff was out for about 40 minutes, and then lightning alarms went off. There's big sirens and flashing lights, and they black flagged the whole race, and everyone went back to the paddock. And we sat there for a while. About an hour, probably off track.
Yeah, I was gonna say an hour. Yeah.
It poured rain during that time, so we just checked over the car and had some snacks in the glory hole and relaxed.
So many snacks.
Right. So that was great. And then Jeff went out afterwards, and we had him on the dry tires, new dry tires, but it was drying by that point, so he finished off his shift. Then Chrissy went out. Chrissy, how was your shift?
It was fine. Tim, when did you drive on Saturday? You want to go over your ones?
I went right after the lightning delay.
Okay. Do you mean to go with my story?
You go first.
Okay. Is your dog on the couch behind you?
My dog is whining and running around, and I'm trying to make sure she's not going to pee or poo in the house. So I'm letting her, I'm running to let her out, letting her back in. I don't know what's going on over here.
Okay, it's no problem. You know the stories. It's not a big deal. Anyway, Saturday I went out. It was dry, cloudy, but dry. I was excited to go out. I was feeling pretty good, having a pretty good stint, getting used to the car, getting out, minimal traffic, normal Saturday afternoon traffic. And I'm driving along, and all of a sudden I lose power steering. So I'm coming out of 3AB, going towards the straight up the hill. And I lose power steering at first, and I'm kind of trying to figure out what's going on. I'm coasting. I don't have a whole lot of power. I mean, I can gas, but I couldn't really turn. And then I stopped, and then I lost all power. All of my lights were, dash lights were blinking. My little arms for all my gauges were flipping back and forth like, and so I said, I think I'm broken. And Chris said, you're probably not. You should just come in. And I was like, I cannot come in. And so
first you just told me you had no power steering. So I said, okay, fine. We'll cycle the key.
Well, you know what? When things like this happen, and I get right. So when I get it gets me flustered. I'm sorry about that. But I'm trying to solve problems while I'm on an active racetrack. So I lose power. I realize I've lost power steering, but I've also lost all kinds of power. So I managed to pull off, and I say I cannot make it back to the paddock because I have no power. And so they put the tow hook on me, and I drag the brakes, and I drag them very hard, and I make them almost on fire because I realized that I don't have a whole lot of brake travel, and I decided that the brake travel that I had was too much, and I used it all. So I made the brakes very hot. I pull in, I get over to where our garage is, and we pull in right in front of our garage, not into the garage. We pull in kind of perpendicular to our garage spot, and we stop, and I get out, and we start pouring water and fans on the wheels and tires and brakes and hubs, and make sure that they don't try to warp or get
mostly on the hubs, because we were boiling water, pouring it on the wheels, even just on the inside of the wheels. They were so hot. So, but then when initially we tried to start the car, it had some electricity, but not enough. Put a jump box on it, fired right up. Then we noticed the charge light was on. So, okay, alternator not working. Did a battery voltage test while running. It was 11 point something. So yeah, clearly not enough electricity, especially while we also had the headlights on because it was just coming off of rain, and the blower motor on to keep the windshield clear, and all those things use a lot of power. So none of that was working. So, okay.
But the alternator is original to the car. So that's nice.
263,000 miles. What a piece of junk.
Right?
Good job, Mazda.
Yeah, pretty much. And I swear I did not see a battery light, but maybe it was on and I didn't know. But it was, either way, I didn't come in. If it was on, then I didn't do my job. But yes.
So we got the car into the garage, and we noticed the car, which had been leaving a trail of rainbows coming down as it was being towed in. So that's surprising. Just yesterday, we were looking at this car, noting that how we just fixed all the oil leaks, and it was surprisingly dry. Isn't that great? And now it's got this. So we put it in the garage. We go to get it up on the lift, and we put it up in the lift, and it's got a significant puddle under the front end of the car. Well, that's new. Hang on. So
only from outside the garage, significant puddle, to the into the garage, another puddle. So this is not drip.
Current active leak. So we get under the car, pull the belly pan off, and there's oil in lots of places. All right. So I start wiping various surfaces off, and at one of those is the oil filter. And I wipe the bottom of the filter off, and wouldn't you know it, more oil appears in the bottom of the filter. What happened is that the plastic underbody tray belly pan was rubbing against the filter just slightly, and actually over 2 races now rubbed a hole through the metal of the oil filter. I didn't think that would happen. I thought the plastic would give way first.
Shaved it right off. It was crazy.
It did not. So it was leaking out of the filter. So fortunately, that was a very easy fix. Put a new filter on, put more oil in it, and cleaned it up.
Thank goodness.
And so actually the alternator going at that point was great, because otherwise that car would have leaked about 6 more quarts of oil out of that filter over the course of Chrissy's shift, and it would have been a giant mess. And then eventually potentially problems with the engine. So easy fix there.
Good catch. Yes. Yeah. Surprisingly good catch.
Yeah. So
all failed at the same
While we were
time.
diagnosing, Eric was cleaning off the underside, and then once we figured out it was definitely the alternator, we sent him out to the parts store. He got a new alternator. We got that in about 10 minutes when he got back, but that was the end of the race. So car didn't get back out, but we cleaned it
And
up.
Chris didn't
and
get to drive.
I did not get to drive, but it was
Wah, wah.
at the end of the day, though, it was easy to do the end of the day prep because, well, we already had the car up in the air and already had checked all the fluids, and we bled the brakes again just to make sure that there was no bubbles in the fluid from how hot they got on the toe end, and tightened up the axle nuts to keep the bearings together after how hot they had been. But everything else. Oh, and actually we changed one brake rotor too, because originally that rotor had some very minor surface crazing. It got a lot worse because of how hot they got on the toe end. So we had one rotor spare, so we swapped that in place of the one that was cracked. And the car was done. And then it was potluck time, which Chrissy will talk about after Tim talks about his shift.
Sounds good.
Yeah, so I was running the Cressida, and when the siren goes off, Dave was in the car. Siren goes off. He gets out, and I was scheduled to take the next run. And I gotta say, like, I don't get nervous getting in the car anymore, but with the fact that I haven't been in a race car since Buttonwillow, which was last September. And then the fact that it was raining, and I'm from California, so it don't really get to drive in the rain very often. So between those two things, I had some butterflies, and I was like, all right, well, I'm going to get in the car and I'm going to drive around
But you know the Cressida well.
Be fine.
So
I know the Cressida well. I feel pretty comfortable with the racetrack itself as well.
Right.
So I'm like, just gonna go out and slow roll.
Mm-hmm.
So, I took my time, had a great stint. It started to dry up, started to press it a little bit more, but still was pretty tentative throughout the day. On Saturday in the car, just turning laps, trying to be clean, and not do anything too crazy. And it was a pretty uneventful stint, with the exception of all of the other people that were spinning off out into the grass and sliding all over the track.
All over the place.
I had a front row seat to that, so I can't wait to see the YouTube that Dave posts of the stint, because there's going to be some good stuff on it. It was pretty epic. So so it was pretty easy. I did my time. Steve got in the car after me. I think I was in there for almost 3 hours. And
really that long?
Yeah, it was
Fantastic.
12. It was like 2:45, I think. Yeah.
Well, with the rain,
good.
you end up using a little less fuel, so you can go at a little longer stint.
Right. Not that you couldn't do that
Dave-
long. I just didn't realize it was that. Everybody was doing something, so
Yeah.
didn't realize it was that long.
Yeah. It was. I think I only used like 9 gallons of gas, so it was crazy. No, that's what he put 2. It must have been like 11 and a half gallons, because he put in two cans, and then this third can immedially started spitting back on.
Yeah,
him.
yeah.
You could have stayed out a lot longer.
That's great.
Oh yeah, just got to pay more. Sorry, Steve, you're out.
So we had 2 other cars and then a couple other friends that were doing stuff. 2 other cars. So Betty had problems all weekend.
Towley, yeah, same car for those who haven't heard both names. Yeah, they had issues with
Towley.
they didn't have enough power, and it was getting worse. Eventually, they figured out it was one of their fuel pumps was going bad, so that took them a long time to figure out. And then eventually, later, I think Sunday, they had a problem with a suspension bolt, so they didn't have a great weekend. And the Mini,
they had fun, but they had a terrible weekend.
Of racing, they had a great time. Not much racing.
And then the Mini is a new build. This is some friends of Greg's. It's Jimbo and his 2 sons, Jimmy and Joey, and they had been coming to the races for like a year now, and just enjoying the fun atmosphere. And eventually they found themselves an '03 Mini Cooper S and got that caged and got it ready and passed tech on its first shot, which was great. And so they were out. They were taking it easy. It's new to all of them. They had some little contact trouble early on Saturday, but it was minor. And then just, teething issues with the car. But they all got to drive over the course of Saturday, and they were all pretty happy just with the fact that they were there and actually out driving. So that was good. Yeah. Then we had potluck.
We had a potluck. Yeah, timing was good. The line was good. The amount of food was good. We had a full table.
Tons of food. Tons
of food. And we had some latecomers, which I love. So even if you are coming to a potluck and you're renting your car and you are concerned about bringing something after 7:00, typically I'm happy to have it, because there are plenty of times when the first line of people goes through, the first set of stuff that goes, it goes and it's gone. And then so you bring another set of sides or something, then people are like, oh, fresh food. It's great. So yeah, we had a really good amount of everything. I think we had salads, we had lots and lots of meat,
and
we had
snacks.
a bunch of things of
so many snacks.
Lots of snacks. I didn't get there yet. Hold on, I should have started with that. But yes, for the actual potluck, we had plenty of sides. We had lots of meat. There was like 4 different kinds of pulled pork, and we already talked about the Italians. They brought a big thing of pasta and cakes, and there was other cakes, and the beer. Bruce and Kaya brought their own beer, and the gin and tonic guys were there. They had a bad weekend, but they still brought their gin and tonic making setup. So, so it was good. And then we had the glory hole that was out front. So it was serving appetizers, which was lovely. We made some cheddar best and some chili cheese dogs. And you guys were you're providing snacks to people that were waiting in line.
Yeah, they were standing in line, and we were trying to coerce them to come in. And I think there were just as many people videoing and taking photos as there were actually going in for a snack. People loved it. Hysterical.
It was great.
It was great. And you guys were standing in the rain. So okay. Saturday. Saturday we had a band. So
we did.
The mini guys brought a band. And
they were great too.
Eric stepped in, and it was awesome. It was really that was really fun.
Eric had a guest appearance on guitar for a couple songs, but it was great to have the actual live band there in the garage for a while. That was fun.
We had some dick goblins.
Definitely did. Definitely some dick goblins. We were throwing dicks. And people were catching them in their mouths.
The little candy,
candy dicks.
Candy dicks.
Oh yes, okay, yes.
Chrissy's very bad at throwing these.
Yeah. I'm very bad. I can throw the actual dildo. I'm not good at throwing the tiny ones. Nope. Not a thing.
Yeah. All right. Shreddy was the long distance champion. Hats off to Shreddy.
So good.
Yeah.
Okay. So Sunday, we raced on Sunday.
We did. We had Eric go out first. Eric had a nice long shift. He was doing great. No problems. We were ready for him to come in. He didn't. He kept going until we were ready to bring him in. No issues. Then Jeff went out. Jeff did a nice long shift. He was feeling good, running good times. He got the car down under 150 and was running well. No, Chrissy, you went before Jeff. Sorry. You went after Eric. Because I took it after Jeff.
Yes.
How was your?
We went back and forth.
Sunday?
Yeah, that's right. We went back and forth because we were fighting. Not fighting. We were saying, no, you go. No, you go. No, you go. It was great. No, I had a great time. I did fine. There's just definitely over braking, but it was all dry and was having a good time. So I had no problems. Enjoyed my time.
Great.
Yep.
Jeff went out. He did a full shift. Did great. Had good times. Got it down to the had some times in the 140s, which was great. Car was running well. All was well. I hopped in for the last 2 hours because I didn't get anything the day before. So everyone else had slightly shorter shifts, so I could get a full 2 hours. And it took me a few minutes to get back up to speed because everyone else had been racing all weekend. It's just the first time I'm getting in the car. So I had to get back up to speed a little bit, but that didn't take that long. And had a really nice run battling with some other cars that were doing really well, like that Celica, for example. Really pleased to see them, and they were running clean and running well. Some other cars, I had to actively avoid collisions with them multiple times because they were not paying attention and driving super hard. Black Civic. So things like that. I watched the blue Cordoba spin coming onto the straight because the two Cordobas were door handle to door handle for about half the track.
People were talking about this.
It was majestic.
How epic it was. Yeah.
And then eventually the one just couldn't handle it and went all the way around. It took a long time to happen. So I was able to back off quite considerably because I had been kind of pulling up to make a pass down the straight there. Once I saw him start to go, I was like, nope, because who knows where that thing's going to go. So that was fun to see. And had a good run. Car ran great. Everyone had popped at a third gear 2 or 3 times coming around the biggest part of the octopus. But aside from that, car drove into the trailer, fairly good condition at the end. So we'll call that great success.
Agreed.
Tim, how was your shift?
Awesome. Chrissy did Chrissy things. It was just super fun. It was dry. The car is predictable and you can pass people and it handles well. I had a really good battle with the Shartini guys in their BMW. Ran out and afterwards and went to go find them and gave them high fives. It was really good time. Great battle with them. And we ended up getting the car into 11th overall, which was pretty good considering we had it was just kind of ho-hum, easy going kind of weekend. And then I got to jump in the Ombre for the end of the day on Sunday, which is El Jefe's built S10 Isuzu Ombre. And I get in. I was so excited to get in because I needed to fix like a crack addict to do some racing, and so I get in the car and Bill Fisher gets on the radio and he says, "Tim, I want you to drive this truck in anger," and I was like, "Yes."
Just don't use fifth gear and you're fine.
Yeah.
Just don't use fifth gear. So I went out and just wrung that thing's neck. I had so much fun in that.
Great.
Got it totally sideways a couple of times.
It's way better than it has any right to be.
I did a 150 flat in that stupid thing, and it was fun. It was super fun. I got to watch the white Cordoba. They were going like at the limit for the last half hour. Guy was just using every little piece of that right up until he crashed into a BMW. So
shoot.
But super fun. Really a big thanks for letting me drive that to the Garage Heroes crew.
I think the only other notable thing we have is that the Mini hit the Buick because he ran out of talent because he was pushing things. He was going so fast that he spun. Buick.
He spun. So it was the very back of the Mini.
There's a just a tip in this.
Yeah.
Well, let's lead right into it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
So, hey, Tim, go ahead. What's your just a tip there for the Mini guys?
So the tip is, and it's a great little rhyme that you can say over and over when you're spinning. You can say, when you spin 2 feet in. So that means the clutch and the brake, not if you have
gas.
If you have an automatic, that doesn't apply. But what ended up happening was the Mini spun and rolled back into the Buick. Basically, the tow hook hit the rear bumper and then proceeded to spin, cut across the rear fender into the wheel, bent the hell out of the wheel, banged into the running board, and then cut a gash, I don't know, like 12 inches into the driver's door. Like scary. Like That's a 1930s piece of iron. Like, imagine if that was a Prius. Like, holy cow. So
Everybody was okay.
Pretty scary. Everybody was okay. Jim learned a
Yes, he
lesson.
did.
So
Yes, I'm very fortunate.
just the tip.
That's
When you spin 2 feet in.
it's real.
Yep. Absolutely. So, all in all, it was a great weekend.
Great race.
Awesome.
Great weekend.
Lots of fun.
Awesome.
Nice to
Great
spend
racing with you guys.
Yeah, as always.
Great to have you, Tim.
It is
And do we know what we're doing
Awesome.
next week? Next race? No, not next race. Next week for the
next
show?
race.
No.
we will
have no
figure it
idea.
out.
Yep.
No idea.
We'll figure
And
it
until
out.
then,
Yep. It'll be amazing.
thanks everybody. It was great to see
Bye,
you.
guys.
Yeah.
See you next week.
Thanks for racing with us.
Thanks for downloading us. We hope you enjoyed this week's edition of Everyone Racers. We also hope you will join us in the world of driving, racing, and building, because everyone can be a racer, even you. If you enjoyed this podcast, subscribe. It's totally free. Then go to iTunes and give us a 5-star rating. Even if you hated us, give us 5 stars and tell us why. If you have any questions or show ideas, drop us a comment on our Facebook page, Everyone Racers, or email us at everyone.racers@gmail.com. You can still text us at 484-243-0455. Find us on Instagram at everyone.racers, YouTube and Facebook under Everyone Racers, or even Reddit at /E1R. Thanks again, and until next week, keep the shiny side up, unless, like us, there is no shiny side, then just keep those wheels down.